Alex, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
No.
I'm honoured to be here and nervous.
Honoured is quite the word. I've never had anyone use it to.
I am honoured, Matthew.
No, thank you. It's I know you're such a busy person, like traveling the world and stuff like that, and you've got so many people while you're back in Scotland for just a short amount of time. So I appreciate that you could fit this in.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Honestly, I'm excited.
Yeah, well, I'm actually really eager to talk to you because out of all the creative people that I've definitely talked to on this, but just in general, I can't think of any off the top of my head that are as versatile as you. You know, doing so many different things like dancing and singing and musical theatre and the Pilates and all the fitness classes that you take. So I really want to, I know so much about what you do, but I don't know how it began. So where did your performance journey begin?
Where it began. So it began at Celia Orr School of Dance in
Cool.
Lanark. Yes. So when I was like 2, I'm pretty sure I would have been about 2, yeah, at that baby ballet class. Loved it.
Do you remember anything about that?
Oh God, just the tutus and the scraping the hair back into the tight bun and
Wow.
Oh my God. But Miss Orr is like a legend. She truly is. And it is due to Miss Orr that I'm like performing now, like for sure. She sparked my interest in it. And like I started there, I was doing ballet, and then I think maybe when I was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 or something, I went into Highland dancing. So I did that, did competitions with that. Me and my cousin did it. And like bless our mums, because my mum and my auntie would have us all round Scotland at these competitions on the weekends. And they'd sit there for like 8 hours listening to like bagpipes. I'm like, how did they do that? Like, if I ever have kids, I'm like, you're not doing that. Like, you're not allowed. But like, I just loved it. I loved it. And I think Miss Orr used to always say, like, I think she called me like her banker or something. Basically, like I didn't have the best feet, right? I didn't have the best pointed toes. I didn't have the best turnout, whatever. But I was always smiling, do you know? Like, I was just always, she was like, if we just don't look down there, just look at the top half, you're good. Like, you're good. But like, I just loved it. Performing was always super passionate. And then in school, we had like a really good music department, to be fair. So I would like sing there. Obviously, I'd done like higher music, advanced higher music. So I did singing and I did violin, and then
You did violin as well?
Yeah,
That's
I did
so cool.
violin. So I did violin from my higher, and then advanced higher. I was like, oh God, I don't know about this violin.
Really?
I was okay at violin. I wasn't the best, but I liked it. But for the advanced higher, like I don't know if I'm gonna be good enough to like get through. I ended up doing xylophone.
Right.
And honestly, it's because I fancied the drum teacher. Honestly, he was lovely.
Oh, wow.
So then I was like, and he taught the xylophone, so I thought, right, I'll take the xylophone from my advanced higher. Surely that'll be fine. So did that. So did music in school, and I'd say like they had like the school choir, school shows. So then I definitely started to get more interested in singing during my time at school.
Well, I'm kind of surprised that you hadn't done any singing up until this point.
Yeah, like I always liked it, but I had never really been to lessons or anything like that. Like always enjoyed it, and my family's a bit, not super musical. My dad was in a band when he was younger, and like my granny and my aunties and stuff, they were always in like choirs and whatever. So there was always a bit of like music in my family, not massively, but I always enjoyed singing anyway. But it wasn't really till school that I probably started to take more like actual lessons and realised that it's something I could even possibly do as a career.
Right.
So school definitely then built that interest, and then at the end of school when you have to choose your unis and stuff, I actually went to a lot of unis to go and study law, which is like,
so
mad.
like during that UCAS point, you went to kind of check out unis for law then?
Yeah. So I don't know, always, and it's mad because now I think how different would my life be and how things
It's
would
a scary thought. Like,
yeah.
I actually makes me uncomfortable to think about how different things could be.
I know how different things would be, and I went to a few, and I think I did enjoy school, and I got pretty good grades and whatever, and like I think coming from like a dance background and all that, like it teaches you like just focus and discipline and whatever. So when it came to doing like exams, I was quite focused and tried to like, do my best and all that kind of thing. But even at that, I was like, no, I still want to perform, even if I'm...
Do you know, this is really interesting. I don't actually know how to formulate this question, but
Okay.
seeing that you are like really big on your fitness and taking classes, kind of an expert at both fields, would you say that the discipline is different in creativity than fitness?
No, I think it's definitely goes hand in hand. And I think that's why, like, when I went into more the fitness industry as well, like, I realised, like, there's so many parallels in it, like, with, like, yeah, the discipline, like, even, like, with performing, like, when you're teaching a class, it's not a performance, but it kind of is, do you know? And, like, you could have had, like, the worst day ever, do you know? And you've still to go and teach a class and be that, like, someone else's joy in the day, do you know? Like, that 1 hour where it's their escape and you have to, like, almost put on. I think I was
a bit of an actor.
Yeah,
to be fair,
yeah, it really is. Like, and even if, as I say, you've had a rubbish day, you've still to go and, like, smile and, like, and be that person. Same with performing. Like, you could have, anything could have happened to you that day, but that night or that show, whatever you're doing, you've still to go and smile on stage and you know.
And I think that's where it would be harder for you, especially in musical theatre, because you literally have to do, like, instrumentalists can kind of hide behind their instruments, or, like, if you're kind of in the pits, you don't actually have to show your face. Whereas you actually have to be, I can't imagine how that would feel.
Yeah, it can be hard because there's been times where I've been going through tough times or whatever, and then but you just need to just get on with it, which can be a great skill to learn. But then I also feel like it's maybe been a wee bit detrimental at times for, like, outside of work life, because I feel like sometimes I can be quite, like, an avoidant, I suppose, because I'm used to just getting on with it. Yeah, it then ends up being that maybe when there is actual issues or whatever, I can just be like, oh, it's fine. Do you know? Well, like, it's totally fine.
I didn't even know this was a thing until we spoke about it, but that could be like a form of positive avoidance, where it's like you're just so anti-negativity that you push it to the side. I think a true avoidant is someone that is, and you can tell me your thoughts on this, but someone who's very negative, doesn't really want an escape, even if they won't admit that. Like, nobody says, oh, I don't want to escape, but it is someone that is, like, very negative, very problem for every solution. That's not an avoidant, that's just negative. I guess it's like someone that shies away from the conversations.
Yeah, for sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, you just have. Yeah, you can. I know what you're trying to say.
Whereas you're not doing it out of fear, you're doing it out of positivity. You're saying, I am not, like, engaging with this on its terms.
Yeah.
Whereas an avoidant would be like, I'm too scared to face this. Maybe I think that's what the difference is.
Yeah, for sure. So I feel like, it can definitely be a good thing. At times, I think maybe it can be a bad thing, but, like, for better or for worse, definitely I'm like that. But, like, but yeah, so I do think there's a lot of parallels in fitness and performing, for sure.
That's cool. And so I kind of detracted you. You just finished uni. No, you'd just after the UK. Sorry, that was such a random question. Sorry.
No, I know that's what happened. I'm going off on tangents.
No, it's fine.
Honestly. So then went to Stanford Law. Was like, you know what? It's just not for me. Actually, like, I just want to perform. I know it's not as stable as going and studying law would be or whatever, but it's what my passion is. So I didn't know a lot about drama schools, to be honest. I really didn't. And there wasn't a lot of, I don't really think anyone else in my year group anyway was in the same boat. Do you know what I mean? Wanting to go and do that. Not that I can remember school ever sort of like, providing much information on, like, theatre schools and stuff. But I knew I wanted to get a degree. And I think at that time, the only place in Scotland that done, like, degrees in musical theatre was Conservatoire. I'm pretty sure. I don't think the colleges, you could do HND, HNC.
That is a thing now.
Yeah, I think it is now, which is great. Yeah, and there's so many amazing schools, like, now here. But when I was leaving, there wasn't loads, you know. Yeah. And I remember at the time Miss Orr being like, you should go down to London, or at least go down to England even. And again, though, I probably didn't do enough research, in all honesty, and I was just not. I really wasn't sure on where I wanted to go. And then I think it was Miss Orr had mentioned this school, Chichester, University of Chichester. And it's so random because it's like a tiny place. I'd never heard of it. Didn't even know. I was like, okay. So me and my cousin Robin actually went away down and auditioned, and I loved it. Like, when I was down there, I was like, oh, I really love this place, because it was obviously big, but, like, I'm from Braehead and it's teeny. There's, like, 2 streets. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing there. And then Lanark is also not massive. Like, it's still a small town. So I think for me, the thought of going diving straight to London was a bit, like, scary, because obviously coming from a tiny, tiny wee village to there. where Chichester, like when I went there, it still had that nice community feel. Like it was bigger. It was like an hour out of London, so you were still could go in, but you were still in a kind of smaller community, do you know, and it was nice. So anyway, when I got offered there, I took it. So I went there and I did music and musical theatre.
Nice.
Which was great. So it was nice having like the join of the degree because we'd done a lot of research into music and singing and everything, as well as obviously the musical theatre.
So that's kind of the question. Like, what was the split between music and musical theatre?
So we would get, I think, because there was a musical theatre course.
Mm-hmm.
I think with ours, we just you could do, like, I did voice, but you could do instruments.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas on the musical theatre course, that wasn't a thing. I think it was just, obviously, you're singing. But I studied voice. And then you also got to study all different types of, like, genres of music and, like, more about, like, reading music and stuff. And so I think that, I can't really remember the exact split, but it was nice to have, like, branch out a bit more into that as well.
Yeah, so the performance is different in a sense. So like when they say, I don't know if you had music classes we had to perform and then musical theatre classes we had to perform. Was that like a different headspace that you went in? So like musical theatre's more, I need to be an actor, and the singing was more, I need to like be good at the voice. Not that you don't have to be good at the voice. But,
no, but I know what you mean, of course. Yeah, and like I don't know if you ever had to do this, but like when you'd have to stand up in front of like everyone,
yes.
and like, oh my god, the fear. I'm pretty sure we had it on a Monday, and I've already got the fear. Do you know what I mean? I've been out all weekend in the SU, like, and then you're getting up, and like, oh, it was just, that was so scary. But yeah, we did. There was more of a focus on voice, I suppose, which was great because I think when I was going to uni, I had done singing lessons in school, as I said, but I had probably definitely always been more of a dancer. So it was nice to get to have more of a focus on vocals, for sure.
So was the dancing still part of the musical theatre course then? So you never lost that? That was something
we
that was consistent?
still do like ballet, jazz, tap, contemporary, heels. And I think that was it at that time. Now there's a lot of commercial dance and I never trained in it. So I always found that quite hard, like when I was auditioning after uni and everything, because it's a lot of commercial and that wasn't something I trained in. But
what is the difference between the kind of dancing that you do and commercial? Because from someone that doesn't really do any dancing at all.
I'm sure you can dance.
Well, you know.
can dance with a saxophone.
I always feel dead stiff with a saxophone when I dance. Like
really?
Sometimes you look at videos and I'm just kind of like, I'm like, I really need to fix it.
We love a shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, more than happy to learn at one point.
Yeah, okay, so you teach me sax and then I'll teach you about dancing.
You've seen it firsthand,
well, commercial's more like sort of like street hip hop, that sort of like style. It's cool. And I wasn't that cool, do you know what I mean? I was very like upright, like dee with my wee point shoes and like but like ballet and jazz is, I think, is a great basis for everything. Even Highlands that I've done, I know it's not like I don't do Highland dancing now, but just the skills that taught me and the stamina and like the just the passion for dance, for sure. Like it taught me a lot doing that for years. But yeah, there's definitely commercials came more, I've noticed anyway, more like into the industry than it was when I trained. Yeah.
One or two dancers have said that they've done a lot of commercial that I know. But I think what you're saying about ballet and things like that and jazz, it's the same with music. I think a classical grounding, like knowing your scales and knowing how to read and all that, sets you up. Even if you don't go into that, it's like it makes everything else easier. Like, do you find that experience with dance then?
For sure. Like having like the base of like just turnout and like all that sort of, just the basic skills for dance, it definitely helps. I think I don't know, but I would say probably it could be easier. I was actually chatting to one of the mums that comes to Pineapple about this other day, about her daughter, because she's always done like sort of like me, ballet and jazz and stuff. And when she comes and does her commercial classes, like it's difficult because it is a totally different way of even just holding yourself and you know.
And we should clarify, Pineapple is the dance class that you take in Dubai.
I work at Pineapple Dance Studios. I know. I'm like, million hats. Like, now I'm skipping way forward. But so I think probably it's I don't know, but I would say maybe it's easier to have the basis in ballet and stuff and be able to then do commercial than to do it the opposite way around.
Yes,
I think, to
100%.
be honest. And even with singing, like, because I trained in, obviously, musical theatre, but then most of the time now I'm singing like pop and stuff, and it's totally different, you know, like, but you've still got the basics, obviously, but it's funny because sometimes, like, when you hear someone or like trying to do pop but in a musical theatre way, and like it's so funny.
There was a guy, and I feel terrible saying, I'm not going to say who it was or where it was, but there was an audition once, and he was singing a musical theatre song, and it was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, amazing. And they done a pop song. And it was like, I am never going to give you up. I am never going to. And you're like, oh.
Like all the vibrato, everything. Yeah. Oh my God.
This is that ice cold Michelle Pfeiffer. Got to kiss myself. I'm so pretty. You know, it's so like.
I love it. To be fair, there's quite a lot of jukebox musicals now that is more like poppy. It's
True,
like
but if you're
becoming
singing in a pub,
poppier.
like, that's not the demographic.
It's not really the vibe. Yeah, it's not really the vibe.
But, you know, I think there's two things that you can do about that. You can either say, and I don't think any of these are bad. I definitely have my preference here. But the first option is you can say, nope, I know my style. This is what I'm good at. And I'm just going to do work along those lines. Or you do the work of saying, right, okay, this technique doesn't work for this style. And I'm just going to be brave and let, because that is hard. Like, see, for a lot of people, especially I think a West of Scotland thing is like, if you're good at one thing, that's the thing that you're good at.
Yes.
Everything else, like, you're not encouraged to be good at multiple different things, especially even, as weird as it might seem, like in performance. It's like you play that instrument, that's your instrument. Like, you're, I don't know if it's a case of you're not allowed. Maybe it's like a tall poppy syndrome thing, or maybe if I look a bit more charity, I think it's kind of like I don't know what the word is for it, but it's one of those ones where you have your thing, and you're allowed to progress at a certain point, but if you do other things, you're seen as not good at it.
Yeah, it's almost like you're trying too many things to be able to be.
That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
A very
Which
long-winded
can
way
be
of
true,
saying
I
it.
suppose. And sometimes I worry about that. Like, if I'm like, because I'm like bad at just staying and doing one thing. I feel like I just always need to be.
I think that's what
doing a
makes life
million.
exciting.
Exactly, right? I'm like, I can't focus on one thing. Like when I first moved out to Dubai, I moved and I was full time.
That's something we should talk. Okay, so you moved to Dubai. Yeah. No, it's fine. So not to cut you off, but like, I've listened back to a few episodes and a few things that I actually think, like, one of the things that was really when you were telling the story, I'm like, I need to know. Like, because it's one of those ones, it's so easy to be telling a story and then just move topic, and I'm really bad at it. So, I like, we can definitely branch into things. But you went to Dubai. That's an important thing to talk about.
Yes, well, that's the most recent.
Yes.
So, will I talk about that now, or do you want me to go back to
Let's
training?
go back, actually, because after training, you started going on the cruise ships.
Yeah, eventually. So basically, after I left uni, I went on to do a year at a drama school in London.
Yeah.
And it was American Musical Theatre Academy at the time is what it was
Very cool.
called. Yeah, so they had a school in New York. So basically, I chose there because you got to train in New York as well. Only
very
for,
cool.
it was really
Yeah.
cool. It was short. I think it was about a week maybe. So it wasn't a long time, but it was still amazing, you know, to get to go over there and train with some amazing teachers. And yeah, it was great. So yeah, I moved to London, and then I lived in London for quite a bit of time and worked doing different bits and bobs there. But it's hard when you first graduate. Like, it's a tricky industry, do you know?
It's something that nobody really prepares you for.
Oh, yeah.
And
The rejection is real.
and
this
how
is
painful
hard.
is rejection, right?
Oh my
Let's
God.
not sugarcoat it. Like,
Yeah.
some people, like, you hear all these motivational videos and stuff like that, and you know, oh, it's always push through and push through and push through. But like, it's hard. Like, even personally in life, say you really, really like someone, you get rejected.
I know.
It's like, it can take a long time
this
to
is
recover
painful.
from. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like, the only answer is just to keep moving, I
Yeah.
think. But it doesn't mean that you're not allowed to feel upset by it.
You're allowed to still, like, of course. And I think I'm definitely now better at rejection. But when you
Yeah.
first come out of school, like, it's hard. And what I think was a good thing was when I was training, I'm not saying I never did any of it, got any parts or whatever. But you do there's the favourites in this, and when you're back, that are always getting the roles and whatever. Good, and that's me not saying anyone's not good. They were worthy, I'm sure. But I've noticed that like since I've left, like a lot of people that were the ones that were always on top, they're not in the industry anymore, because as soon as you come out of school, you realise that's not the reality, do you know? And so it can be hard, I can imagine, if you've always been at the top and then suddenly you're like this, like, what do they say? Big fish, small fish in a big pond?
No, big fish in a small pond.
There we go.
But, what is interesting about what you said is that rejection is inevitable.
Yeah.
Right? Either when you're in school or whether you're in uni and you don't get the top parts or whatever, or you kind of learn to deal with it a bit. Because I think that pain is always going to be that you just get better at dealing with it. But the thing is, like, rejection will find you.
Yeah.
You can make friends with it. And I think if you're in that process like you've described where it happens to you earlier on, you get better at dealing with it, and then your success maybe comes a bit faster. Not because you might get the biggest parts, but because you've made peace with the simple things, and you can enjoy life more.
And they say like rejection's redirection, right? And
it's like a sat nav, you know, you go the wrong way, it's like, okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that, to be honest, I try and think about that with like everything in life, and like if something goes wrong, I'm like, right, well, there's a reason that didn't happen, because there's something else coming, or like something bad might have happened if that I had got that job. I don't know. I just try and have that mindset. It can be hard sometimes.
Well, and I think with rejection, for years and years, I viewed it as, and I don't mean to do the self-projecting thing, but like just on the topic, but it's definitely when I always viewed it as a worth issue. Yeah. So I always viewed it as if I didn't get that, I wasn't good enough and I had to be better. And I think in our fields, it's easy to come to that conclusion because you are being you for a living.
Yeah.
Right. Like a lot of jobs, you're doing something that you're not emotionally attached to. We're doing what we're passionate. We're doing like, see, if you weren't, performing at the weekend, I could be wrong, but the odds are you'd probably be like, I want to go and sing somewhere at karaoke, or I want to go and do like for fun. That is who you are. Like we get to be us. So if someone rejects you, it feels like, what did I do wrong? Yeah. But like, the lesson that I definitely learned, and I hope people learn it a lot sooner, is like, it's not a worth issue. It's an alignment issue.
100%, because I think before, like when I was first auditioning, like you do come away just going, oh, I'm rubbish, that's why I've not got it. But then actually you're like, can be a million reasons why. Like you might have been the best singer that day, but doesn't mean that you were the best for the part that they needed you for. Like it could be that you're too tall, it could be anything. Like I sat on like a panel for a company I worked for a bit before, and they were holding auditions. So anyway, being on that side, it opened my eyes. Even this was only a year ago or so, and I was like, wow, there is so much more to consider than just being the best singer. Do you know? It's like, does this girl fit with the other girls, or is she like the right height, or like, do you know?
And how deflating is that for people, like when you're first starting to dwell on uncontrollable things? So say, oh, I'm too high. I'm too high.
Too high?
No, I mean, I'm too tall. If someone says, oh, I'm too tall, or I'm too small, and like that can apply to anything. You see a lot of people that just hate themselves because of things they can't control.
Yeah, and like God's performing is a career that's going to bring up many an insecurity. Do you know what I mean?
But the good thing about that is that it forces you to kind of like, see if you, what is this saying? It's a bit aggressive, right? But it's like, if you don't grow, you die. And I think you can a lot of people interpret that as laziness, but I think a lot of people, like, if you go far enough, you realise like pain is the only way that I sound like a fitness guru now.
I'm like, this is inspirational.
But it does feel like that. It's like pain is the only way that you can get better.
It's true.
And I think it doesn't mean that you have to pure kill yourself in the gym. No. It means like, getting your heart broken, getting rejected from a big part that you wanted, or
And it's so true that when you look back in the future, you're like, oh, like I learned so much from that, or
you do.
Like, and it wasn't at the time, like especially like getting your heart broken. I remember being younger and thinking I was gonna die. Do you know what I mean? If like a boy dumped me, I was like, this is awful.
But the thing is, those feelings are real. Like I know it's easy to look back on it. I still remember my 17-year-old heartbreak, and you remember it like it was yesterday. Even though objectively you look back on it and you say you can see it for what it is. Like it's not, no one's gonna like. It's not terrible, but those feelings are the first time you feel like
my
that.
God, yeah.
You know, it's a bit
I
like
feel like your heart is
imagine.
broken.
Yeah, imagine you going to the gym, right, and you've never lifted weights before. I'm
Yeah.
using all this because you are a gym person, right? Which I do want to learn more about, but like we're on the like, say, imagine like heartbreak is like I can't lift 100 kilos, right? Like you know, people that can do that on the bench, but like metaphorically speaking, like that for your first time, like when you are young and you're worried about getting dumped to like really, really young heartbreaks, it's like you're not strong enough to lift it. But as you go through life more and more, you get stronger, and like the heavier weight you can lift and love. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So true. Yeah.
That's
So
what it
true.
feels like.
You you learn from it, you grow, and then you look back, you think, oh, it wasn't that bad. Or
No.
or as I say, if it's a job that you haven't landed, you're like, well, if I had got that, I maybe wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. Or like, so there's always a lesson. It's just sometimes at the time
you just have to keep
yourself,
moving. And it's like, see if you're in it. Like whether it is like the rejection from the big parts, or you're just getting, you just have to keep moving. Like you can't always see, and it can take years at times.
Literally years.
The worst case scenario, it can take years. It doesn't always, but it's one of those ones where it's like you just have to keep moving, and day by day things get better.
Yeah.
And eventually you're in a place where you're like, you know, even if you don't feel great when you go out on to a performance one night, you can look at your life and say, I'm in a good place. And I look back at the younger self who's like, would have dreamt of having all this now, and say, you know what, like, yeah, you might have been dumped last weekend, or you might have like got rejected from whatever, but I'm in this now, and life is objectively good. I think that's a good place to get to.
Yeah, no, it's so true. It's so true.
Yeah.
But yeah, where was that?
Well, on the topic, that is a good question.
Where was that? Drama school. Yeah. So left drama school in London, and then worked for, so at the drama school I went to, I got the Dancer of the Year award, which I was like buzzing with. Yeah, there we go.
You got the win.
And then from that Principal Ken, principal of the drama school, was opening up another school in China, and so he asked me to go out there. So I wasn't sure at first, because the initial job was to go out as a sort of like a choreographer's assistant for a show that they were putting on. So I went on that, and I really enjoyed it. It was in Shanghai. It was great. Came home, and then I got asked to go out again to be more like to teach dance. I wasn't sure at first, because I was like, I want to perform though, and I hadn't long graduated, and I felt like I hadn't really given it like a good go, do you know, at auditioning. But then I also thought, well, why not go and take a few months in Shanghai? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Brilliant,
So I ended up going back for like, God, I think it was about 4 months actually. And then I came back home, and then I went back again. So I almost spent the whole year in China, back and forth.
So how many countries is that you've actually been to? So obviously London, New York, Shanghai, Dubai. And
the ships, I've done a bit of travelling, mostly Europe, always Europe,
So I'm kind of excited to talk about the cruise ships actually, because what was that like? What was the cruise ships
amazing. Loved it, like so good. I've done three different sort of contracts. So the first one I done was a guest entertainer role. So we took a show on, and that was, I'm not gonna lie, that was the best. I mean, we done the show once a week. It was a holiday, I'll be honest, right? I'm not gonna lie. We were out there getting dressed up every night, and like, oh my God. But it was fun. But yeah, we literally had the show once a week. It was a short contract though. I think I was on it for 6 weeks. So it wasn't too long, but it was really good. And that one we did, it was Canary Islands, Spain and Portugal, so all different spots around there. And then we also did Germany, Rotterdam, Amsterdam, and I think that was that, because it was like a Christmas market sort of cruise. So that was really cool. And on that one, because we were guest in, we had like guest status, so we were in the guest cabins. So that was my first experience of a ship. So I was like, oh wow, this is like luxury. This is amazing. And then the next one I done was obviously crew. So that is a little bit different, because you're in crew cabins and you don't quite have the same privileges as the guests. But still an amazing experience. And with that one, it was a company over in Swedish company. Yeah, so I was over there, crazy, random. And so I was there, and I was in like the show team. So we did like 4 different shows. It was 2 a night. And I remember it was so late. It was like 10 p.m. and 12 12 a.m, I suppose. And see now, if it gets to like 12, I'm like, how was I just going out to do a show? Then like, I'm knackered. But like, I loved that because we done like, it was there was like a country show, which was so fun. I love like country music. There was like a TikTok show, so it was like pop music and stuff, which was great. There was like I think it was like called like karaoke. So there was one that we done like all a mix of like songs that you might hear at karaoke. So that was nice. And then there was like a Spanish show, which was so cool because I got to learn to sing in Spanish, which I did not know how to do that before.
Really?
So yeah.
So did you learn a bit of Spanish and stuff? Cool.
Yeah. For the show, I could sing in it, but I can't really speak it, which is funny because
So did you not know what you were saying?
No. I was just like, well, Bad Bunny, great, perfect. But like one of my best friends that I met at uni, Claudia, she's from Barcelona, and basically, like, I lived with her for like 3 years, and I'm like, why did I not learn any Spanish? Like, I should have like learned, but I never did. She was obviously wanting to better her English, I suppose. So then it was like we're always But yeah, no. So Ships was great. That was amazing. Was on that was just last year, and then I've also done being in the band on a ship, which was again just a short. It was only two weeks. I think.
Really?
3 weeks or something.
I didn't know they offered contracts like that.
So that was really fun. Like that was just singing in the band, the show band, party band, like every night, and so fun. Like I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds cool. Was there anything like? Obviously, it was a lot of fun, but was there any challenges to it, or was it quite?
Yeah, like missing home, honestly.
Yeah.
And missing like just home comforts. Like I'd done one where I was sharing a cabin, which I loved, still good friends with Cassie now, and like we really got along. But I used to think, God, if we didn't get along, this would be like very challenging to have to share a small cabin with someone, you know. You don't get a lot of alone time really. Wi-Fi can be an issue sometimes. Seasickness can be an issue sometimes.
Oh, do you get seasick?
I don't really, like there's a bit called the Bay of Biscay, I think it's called. It's a part of
the Bay of Biscuits.
It sounds quite nice. And that's like known to be like a really rocky bit. And there was a few times where it was very rocky. But I got you can get wee bands that like, I don't know what they do. They put like pressure points somewhere on your wrists. So that sort of stops you. Or just drinking ginger ale, or like you get wee like ginger sweets you can eat, tablets. There's ways around it. There was a few nights we were doing one of the shows, and like one of our like bits of set was like on wheels, and it's just like moving about the place, and you're trying to stand at the mic and like ground yourself, but you're obviously in heels and all that, and you can feel yourself sway, and you're like,
that just
oh
makes
my
me
God.
nervous to think about.
Yeah, so that was a lot sometimes.
The homesickness one probably was the toughest though, wasn't it? Because it's like you're away for so long, and that's probably something you might have felt your whole life to a degree.
Whole life,
because
and even now still, yeah, absolutely. Like, because when I moved out, left home when I was 17 is when I moved down to Chichester, and since then really I've had spells being back at home. COVID, I was at home for quite a bit of time, or like, you know, months here and months there between contracts, but like I've not properly lived at home since then really. And for sure, like it can be hard missing family, obviously friends, events, like, and now that like I'm at an age, like I'm turning 30, Matthew, it's happening. I'm like, how is this happening? But like a lot of my friends now are getting married, having kids, like doing, and there's so many events. I'm like, I don't want to miss that though. So, but I make sure that I can get home to whatever as much as I can. But sometimes, obviously, there is times where if you are away on a contract, it's not possible to come home, and it can be really hard. It can be really, really hard.
I think it is like that performer life though, like you can just, it's really unsociable hours, it's really far away, like, and sometimes your family members might have spontaneous birthdays and stuff like that, and you can't make it because you had a wedding or something that was booked
ages
in
before.
advance.
Because even, to be fair, when I was living here and doing gigs, like even that, like you come to, it's like, oh, just try and get out of it, and it's like, well, that's my job though. So if I do try and get cover for that gig, then I'll lose work. And then being self-employed, you know, it can be hard sometimes to turn down stuff, which, I think I'm getting better now. I used to be I'm still career driven, don't get me wrong, but like I used to be very much like, that was the one thing, and anything else, like I wouldn't be booking holidays because I'm too scared like
Yeah.
an audition might come up, or like I don't know. But now I
And I
think
also think it's just drilled into you, like you need to be at the top of the game to be. I don't know how I feel about that now. I feel like that was kind of
yeah,
self projection from the teachers
for
back
sure
on
my
the day.
mind is changing a little bit. I
Um,
think I'm at a stage where there's other stuff in life that for me it's just as important.
Well, the
Like
thing, it doesn't fulfill you. Like, I want to be careful with that, right? Because it
yeah,
absolutely does in many
yeah,
ways, right? Like, there's no other job I'd rather do, but it's not everything. Like, the
mhm,
family's important and friends are
for
important.
sure.
And I think, like, you make sacrifices when you're younger to go and get the career. But I think when you've got the career now, you think, okay, now you can have a little bit more fun.
Absolutely, because I want to see some of my best friends' kids growing up, and I want to be at their weddings, and I want to spend time with my grannies, and
Mhm.
stuff like that. That like before when I was away, I was like, oh no, but I need to. Yeah, you just need to keep on this one path. But I'm definitely like now more willing to take time away back home and spend more time with
Yeah.
like loved ones, because it's so important. It's so important.
This is just a question that I've thought of.
scared.
So no, I feel okay. It's sort of like you don't have to answer, but it's something
No.
I was actually thinking just before you came in. I was scrolling on social media, and there was someone that made a parody of like they were saying, oh, everyone in your 20s when they look at things, it's like people are either getting married or they're buying houses or they're like just kind of milestones, and I think we're probably quite similar in the way that we had a very different life to that. And like, do you ever feel like kind of anxiousness when you see so many people living a life that like is very different from you, and you kind of
Yeah.
feel like, yeah, totally.
Yes. Oh yeah. Like this is therapy.
Literally,
I was
yeah.
chatting to Robin about this morning. Actually, for 100%.
Yeah.
Every time I come home, I'm like, oh my god, what am I doing with my life? Like because it's tricky, because I feel like when I look back and I think if I had done that, like if I had gone into a 9 to 5 job or something more stable and stayed at home, probably that would be my life now. I don't know, it might not be. Do you know what I mean? I maybe wouldn't have a house and a husband and kids. Who knows? But like,
It's often not healthy to dwell on that, isn't it? Because it's not the canon
not the
timeline.
case.
Like,
Yeah, I'm like, it's just not the case.
yeah.
And I don't know if that would have changed things, but like I know that I would have had this feeling of like, like I have missed doing what I really wanted to do, which was travel and perform, and it definitely comes at a cost, because you do miss out on like, building relationships, be that with a partner or even friends, and just keeping that up. It can be really hard.
It can, but see that feeling that you're describing in your chest, that passion, that's something that a lot of people don't feel.
Yeah.
And if you follow that, then you will know. And in many ways, it has fulfilled you. You have, like, as much as you might not have done those type of conventional things, you've seen more parts of the world. You've done something that you love.
Yeah.
You've done so much more life experience than most people ever will. And as much as, it might like give you anxiety and stuff when you look on TikTok and stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm
You
like,
can,
oh my God.
I know, it's just don't. It's a necessary evil, social media, isn't it? Because
Isn't
like if I didn't have social media, I probably wouldn't be able to do it. Like, because that's my main point of contact for
Yeah.
like. But I wish I didn't need it. I honestly wish I didn't need it.
For sure, because the
Um,
comparisons that you make, and
Yeah.
like, when you see other people your same age as you or what they're doing, and you go, oh my God, what am I doing? And like, but it is right, you have to be like, no, but then had I done one thing, I wouldn't have done the things I have done.
I think the
you
proof can
just-
be, and this might sound superficial, and I'm more than happy for you to push back on this, right? But I think results can be the biggest argument. Like you're and to be fair, this is not something for people just starting off. Like, do not like this is like 10 years into the career. But like, I think you're the biggest argument for your worldview, right? And I
Yeah.
think if you have done something that you really like, you've made money doing something that you really like, and you're in a good kind of position, I think then that means that you're doing okay. But I think sometimes I've definitely felt that anxiety where like a lot of people in the town that I grew up with, guys specifically, went into trades. That was kind of the thing, or football or sports. And when I didn't go into something like that, sometimes you do feel like, well, am I less of a guy, right? Obviously,
of course, you can't help it. Like, it's like a lot of my friends, most of my school friends have gone into teaching or a lot of more stable jobs.
Well, that's the thing. Like, guys typically, we're similar towns, right? Like, it's like guys. When I don't know if this is as bad now, but like it was the guys typically went into kind of like trades or manual work, and girls went into care.
Yeah.
That was kind of like what our grandparents did, and
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of their descendants. That's what I want. I didn't even say. I mean that. Yeah, we're now going posh. But yeah, it is a thing, and I think when we do stuff that's so unconventional, you can kind of feel as much as we're both really happy doing what we do. I think you get to a point in your life, you're like, I don't know.
No, it's true. You're like, oh my God, what next? But like, it's it's
Well, I don't
tricky.
actually think what next is a thing. I think we've proven that we can have careers in these things. I think those demons, for lack of a better word, are always going to be there, but
Yeah.
they dim over time. I
Yeah.
think sometimes, if like in your case, if you might be feeling this because you're just back in Scotland
I
and you're
think
getting
so.
time to think.
Yeah.
But I think when you're back in flow again, that they'll go away. I think any
sure.
time that you're kind of in the quiet lane, you've went into the slow lane for a bit, those thoughts might come up. But when you're
yeah.
actually in your prime, how do I say it? Not your prime, but when you're in your element,
Yeah. When you're working and doing
you
what
don't
you
feel
love,
those things.
you don't, 'cause
I've never been in a gig and thought those things.
No.
You're always in it, enjoying it. It's always kind of maybe on the Wednesday, actually. It's weird that you schedule time with your demons. But like everything up until that point, I don't know if you have this, but like your Fridays through to Sundays, sometimes Thursdays you're performing. Monday, Tuesdays like admin days, like you have like all your calls and stuff, and then Wednesday tends to be like more the quiet day.
It's the demon day. That's the day where you question your life.
Yeah.
And then we go again.
Dinner with me, I can't cancel that.
Literally. Yeah. No, it's tricky, but as you say, you just have to focus on the things you have achieved, have done, and everything happens for a reason. And I know that's like a cheesy thing to say in it, but I do really believe it. Like I do think there's reason for things, and like you just I'm like,
Yeah, I really want to believe that. And I
Yeah.
don't believe that things don't, but I also like, I get quite anxious when things go abstract. See when people like talk about what ifs and multiverse and alternate timelines and like, you know, reincarnation. I actually feel nervous talking about that.
Yeah.
So like I try, like I'd like to believe it, but I don't want to understand it, if that makes sense. Like I'd like to know that it's there and just keep focusing on the routines, you know.
Well, when I was younger, like I don't even know what age I'd be, but I was young and I was down at my auntie's house in Devon. She was having a party. Like I don't know if you would know, like when you're younger, and like sometimes women would have these parties where they would like get like someone in to do the nails, and then they'd be like, I don't know, like somebody selling handbags or like just like random, like I don't really know. Anyway, it was one of these, and there was a woman there that was reading tea leaves, and I was like super young, and I was like, oh, I want to get my tea leaves read, and so I did, and then she wrote everything down for me, and I've still got it, and I always revert back to it. Like every time I come home, I read it, and see the amount of stuff on it. It honestly, like, it's so specific, and it's real, and it's happened, and it's, for me, I'm like, this is mad. Like, so this is wild.
Yeah.
So I do believe that there is a weird pathway for everyone. It's just,
Yeah.
And like, who knows what it'll be, but like, it'll work out.
That's the healthiest way that you could have ended that. Not that I didn't agree, but like I think totally. I think that's, you know, everything will work out. You know, you just keep going. I think that is the key, isn't it? Absolutely. Well, we're coming to the end, but I would like to ask: are you? I had a total mind blank. I'm going to ask that again.
Go again.
I hate that. Right. We're coming to the end. Are you excited for the future?
It's very excited.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little scary, but no, it's exciting. I don't know, because obviously I moved to Dubai last year, and like, I don't know how long I'll be there for. This time last year, I didn't even know I was moving to Dubai, do you know? So like, it just, things
How did that come about?
So basically, Revolution Studios, where I still do teach reformer Pilates and spin. I started working there, I think it was just after lockdown or during lockdown time. I was back home from London. I'd moved back home because all performing work had basically finished, as you can imagine. And I think it was actually my friend Kate, funnily enough, that sent me the advert for they were advertising for Reformer Pilates, and I was really interested. So I went and obviously trained with them and got the job, and it was great. And I kind of used to do it in between contracts. So whenever I was home, I would teach some classes, and it was fab. And then I was out on a performing job in Dubai, not Christmas there, but the one before, just like a short 6-week dance job. And came back, and David from Revolution contacted me and said he was going to be opening in Dubai, and if I was interested to go out with them, with Reformer. So I said, yeah, why not? So off I went. So that was like last January. But at that point, it was very like nothing was dead set in stone. And I was about to go on the cruise ship. So I was like, I knew I was coming back in the summer, back to Scotland. So it was kind of like, let's rechat then and see what's happening. And that's what happened. And then in last August, I moved out. So was full-time Reformer instructor with Rev up until about Christmas. And I think, to be honest, as I was saying before, like, I just don't bode well with the full-time. And that's not for not want of working. My God, I love working. But, like, I do better, I think, as a freelance sort of self-employed, getting to do bits and bobs. I was missing performing, honestly. And there's a lot of amazing performing opportunities in Dubai, and I wanted to explore that, you know. So in January, went freelance at Revolution. So was still teaching Reformer, still enjoyed it and everything, but was doing more performing work and stuff. So now was doing that for a bit. Then Ramadan came, which also means performing sort of quietens during that time.
Right.
And then the war happened. Then that got even quieter. So I ended up working at Pineapple Dance Studios. So that's where I'm at the moment, which I'm really enjoying. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting when you're talking about the self-employed versus, you know, I think I heard a quote and it was working for something. I'm not saying this applies to you, this,
of course,
but it's like if you work really hard for something that you don't care about, it's called stress. But working really hard for something that you do care about, it's called passion.
Absolutely. No, it's true. Like, when it comes to anything that I'm passionate for, like, even not just performing, like, obviously I do enjoy fitness and just anything in the performing industry. Maybe it's not actual singing, but see if I'm just within that entertainment field, I love it. Even doing events, that type of thing. Like, it doesn't feel like work because you just, it's so enjoyable, and I would do it 24 hours of the day if I had to, where if it's a job that I don't enjoy, I'm like, I just can't.
The clock is like, tick.
Yes.
Tick.
Literally, I'm like, come on. Because, it's hard, and I think, like, if you are lucky enough to be able to be in a job that you are passionate about, God, it's so lucky. Like, it's so lucky to do something that you love. And there's been many times that that's not been the case because there's not been performing work. So you have to kind of just reach out. God, the amount of random stuff I've done, do you know, like in between contracts just to keep ticking over until the next one. It's mad. But then it does give you life experience, and you think, oh, there's skills that I can maybe use for something else. Do you know?
As long as you can see the meaning in everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that phrase, like, luck is where persistence and opportunity meet. And sometimes you've been in situations where you're just plain unlucky with things like, you know, the Dubai situation, and like there's nothing you can do about that.
Exactly.
But you did choose to say, right, no, I'm not giving up. I'm going to go and do Pineapple. Right?
Yes.
Whereas a lot of people would have, you know, just backed up and been like,
for sure, it would have been so easy to just sort of go, well, that's my time there over with. But I was enjoying Dubai and felt like I don't think that will be forever. I don't know, who knows, but I don't.
Could you see yourself living in Dubai forever?
I don't think I could.
No.
But I don't know. Who's to say? And I know what I'm like. God knows where I could end up, you know? And that's the thing. I don't really have any ties to, of course, to home with family and friends, of course, and that'll always be the case. But I don't have a partner, I don't have kids, I don't have that. So, you know, if an opportunity came somewhere else, or if I just thought, you know what, I just want to come back home and that's my time.
All roads are open to you.
Yeah, which is really nice place. But I just felt at the time, you know, in January, February, I wasn't ready to move back yet. I hadn't felt like I'd fulfilled everything there. And actually the Pineapple thing is mad, like, because I had my friend was working on Wicked at the time, and it had opened,
cool.
and and it was over in Dubai Opera, and so she invited me to their premiere night, and I was so sick. I had food poisoning, and I was like, I can't go. Like I was literally like in my bed up until like an hour before it. I was like, what am I gonna do? Like I just could not stop. Like it's a bit much info, but I was just being so
No,
sick. I was just being so sick. Anyway, I was like, no, come on, you need to go. I was like, I know it's going to be a cool event. Like, I need to go and see the show and meet people and whatever. So forced myself and then we were at the after party thing and I was literally drinking ginger ale. And it's funny because in the pictures, like, we're posing with, like, the glasses of champagne and then I just put it down, get the ginger ale because I couldn't even face it. And I bumped into Lisa, who owns Pineapple in Dubai, and got chatting with her, connected on Instagram. And then that's how that job came about. And it's, like, mad to think if I had just not went to that night, likelihood of me having that job, well, probably wouldn't, you know? Like, so it is
My
true.
mum always says that it's like the nights that you dread at times are the ones that actually are really, really good.
Yeah.
Thinking.
And you can change things because had it not been for having that, I don't know how much longer I would have been in Dubai, honestly, especially with everything. It would have been so easy to just go, I'll just come home then, you know,
And see, if you did that, I don't think you would have stopped performing. You just wouldn't have been in Dubai to do it. Like.
Yeah, I would have come back and found something else.
Yeah.
So, because I'm back over summertime. I'm going back on the ship I'd been on in the band, so I'm going back on that for a wee bit, and doing some other bits and bobs. But yeah, Dubai's too hot in summer. I'm like, I can't face that like 40 odd degree heat. I would just die.
Totally. But no, well, it's been really, really insightful and I'd say inspiring, good for the soul conversation.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, it's been great. Thank you so much for having me, honestly.
No, well, where can people find you on your socials and stuff like that?
Just my Instagram, @AlexRay_. It's quite fun. I really should set up a separate like performing account because my account is like 1 minute I'm like, I don't know, doing some show dress with something on. The next minute I'm on the reformer bed. The next minute I'm out on a night out. You know, I'm like, people are going to be like, oh, who is this girl?
I mean, if it's worked so far, then
oh
why
God,
change it? Like,
yeah, but yeah, just my Instagram, @AlexRay_.
nice one. Well, thank you so much for talking to me today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.